Okay, in JavaScript we've seen how to define functions, but there's another way to define a function is by using a function expression. So here's the regular way that we did it, right? The keyword function, the name of the function, any parameters, and then the braces to define where the function begins and where it ends, and then the body of the function here. Okay, that's the normal way. You can also do a function expression, and it's more like declaring a variable, right? Let a variable, but instead of assigning that variable to be a number or a string, we assign it to be a function, right? So it's kind of like the name of the function has been popped out as like a variable name. So let this variable be assigned a function, and then right after the word function, you do the parameters and then your body of the function, like so. Okay, so I'll just show you quickly that this works. Let's go to our sandbox maybe and just play with this for a second and see how it goes. Perfect, right here I've got this random decimal. Let's make that a little bigger. Let's go live with this. And if I open up my console, great, I got a random decimal between 50 and 100. Okay. So the idea here is this is our regular function declaration that we normally do. Let's try to turn this into a function expression. Okay, so this is function declaration, like so. Let's try a function expression. So I'm going to go let random decimal, right? So just like declaring a variable, let random decimal be assigned in 5 or high. Nope, we're going to define it as a function. Now I don't put a function name because I already have the variable name here. We just do the open and close parentheses, open and close braces. And then I'm going to copy and paste this, the body of my function. I'll need the parameters low and high. And I'm going to comment this out to say this is now, I want to see if the program works with this new function expression. Okay, we save that and go back here and wonderful. Okay. So this is another way to declare functions. I'll talk in a little bit about why we might want to do this. Normally, if it's a function like this, I would normally just do a regular declaration. It just looks more normal to me. But there are times where this is useful, and I'll talk about that in a moment. One thing I want to point out, though, is if I take this line of code and cut it and put it before the function expression, we should see an error. Random desc is not defined. So that's one thing that with function expressions, basically I can't call random desc because I haven't declared it. I'm declaring this variable. I haven't declared and initialized this variable yet, so I can't use it up here. I have to use it below the declaration of this function expression. Okay, so then it works fine. However, this is JavaScript. When we do a function declaration, the way we learned at first, JavaScript does something called function hoisting. So it scans the document first, and then it knows that there's a thing called random decimal, and then I can actually call it before I've declared it. And this works fine. Okay, I think we saw that when we've done our visualize JavaScript stuff. I think we've kind of seen that you can see that when you have this code, it automatically scans the function. Let's try it out again. So if I visualize execution, this is the one where I'm using the regular function declaration. And look, the program hasn't even started yet, right? I haven't gone forward yet, but JavaScript scans the code and looks for any of these function declarations. So it knows what random decimal is. So when it runs this function, it can do it, and it'll print it out, and everything will work fine. Okay. However, if we get rid of our function declaration and we comment out the function expression, whoops, I don't need to save the page, I need to visualize. You'll see that JavaScript has scanned it, but it hasn't seen any function declarations, and it doesn't run this until it actually goes with the code. This doesn't work. So if I take this out and put it down below, now see it'll run and say, oh, look, you want to declare a variable. Oh, cool, you just declared a variable called random decimal, and it's going to be a function. And now I can run the function, and everything works fine. Okay, so anyway, like I said, function expressions, there's the regular declaration, or there's this declaring it as a function expression. And then the only thing to be careful is, yeah, the function expression will only be invoked after it's been defined. All right, now why learn about function expressions? Well, one reason is you can define function expressions in objects. So we've learned about objects before, right? Bubble, I've declared it as a global variable somewhere else, let bubble, and now I'm initializing it here. Bubble is assigned this object that has an X property and a Y property, but it also has move and draw properties that are functions. Okay. This is mainly just an organizational type thing, because now what I can do is I can access these, just like I can go bubble.x and bubble.y. I can go bubble.move, open and close parentheses, to execute this function, and bubble.draw to execute this function. And the advantage of this is just organization, that we can keep everything to do with the bubble in one location, right? All of its properties are here, and all of the functions that control what a bubble can do, its behavior, can go here. Okay, so that's one use of function expressions. Another use is as callbacks when you have an event. So normally, again, this example here is the way we normally do it. Document add event listener key down, and then we give it the name of a function, and we define the function down below. But you could also, instead of giving the name of a function here, you could actually just define a function expression right in the event listener. Right? You just got to make sure your brackets are good. This brace ends over here, and then this bracket ends the event listener bracket there. Okay? There's certain uses for this. Generally, I prefer the look of this one better. I think it's more organized. I don't like all the extra brackets and stuff and embedded inside of each other. They accomplish the same thing. You'll probably see this in example code if you're looking at stuff or you're searching for solutions to things. You'll come across this because it's pretty common. But like I said, I prefer this in this scenario. But there are definitely times where doing this anonymous function is useful. And we'll see that in some of the examples, the future videos down below. Okay, that's just my note explanation here. Just this idea, we can declare it the regular way or as this function expression. Why would we do that? It allows us to declare properties, object properties, these variables, as functions. And we can also do kind of this anonymous. We call this an anonymous function because it doesn't really have a name. Right, which in some ways can be a disadvantage, because if I wanted to use this function somewhere else, I couldn't. Right, it's just tied to this event listener. But like I said, there are some certain advantages where you can define this anonymous function expression in an event listener. It comes in handy. Okay, that's it for the notes explanation. Next two videos, I'll do a gravity bouncer where we'll take our code we did before and we'll move the functions inside of the object like this. And then we'll do a dice roll simulator, which we did before, but we're going to add on to it a little bit, and I'll show you how the anonymous functions come in handy in that program. Okay, hope that made sense. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.